Hello and welcome to the Talkin Bits podcast. I am your host, Michael Rose, and with me is Nathaniel Boer. I'm going to be nice to him. He got me a very thoughtful gift, as you'll see on the show if you listen to like 50 minutes into it.
Save it for the end.
Yep. So we just recorded a really cool episode.
Yeah, this is kind of a different direction for us. We went for a non-comic guest today.
Yeah.
The person we had on the show today is my friend Lucas Ray. He and I worked together several years ago now. Jesus Christ. Actually, almost a decade ago, which is so sad to say.
You're old. Welcome to the club.
Right. When we were both just little kids, we worked at the movies together, and we had mutual friends. We kind of stayed in contact here and there, but he went to film school in Charleston, and so I haven't seen him in a couple of years. And then I found out he is doing his very first boxing match in May. So obviously the whole episode, I mean, he kind of breaks down the build up to it and also just some fun stuff about that world that Michael is very ignorant to.
Very confused, yes. I was going to say I'd like to apologize for the first 4 minutes of my ignorant questions, but really it was...
Yeah.
It was the whole
If
hour.
you know anything about boxing or care about the sport, maybe skip this episode. Or
if you care about the sport and you want to be very angry with me,
yeah.
watch the episode.
Michael has made some enemies in the boxing community.
Made some claims.
No, truly, I think for a show that is not about boxing, it probably helps to have some very base level questions ready for both ourselves and the listener. Because obviously, I don't know too much about that world either. But Lucas is a great dude, and I've known him a long time, and so I knew when he actually reached out to me to come on and promote this date, and it's all for charity too, which is just amazing. So
I do want to make one confession, and then we'll let the episode roll.
Sure.
On the show, I said I'd seen Rocky. I've never seen Rocky, but I was terrified to tell him that. I didn't want to tell him.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yep. Anyway,
Yeah.
enjoy the episode.
Yeah.
Bye. And we are back with special guest Lucas, who I don't know. I didn't get your last name.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, my bad.
Off to a good start. Our friend Lucas Ray. Hey, Lucas.
Lucas what?
Ray.
Ray.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucas Ray. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
So,
coming.
kind of a different thing this week. We do not have a comedian. Maybe by the end of it, he might be a comedian.
We'll see.
But
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah,
We do have a habit lately of talking people into returning to the art form of stand-up
or just
comedy.
starting the art form
Or just
of
starting,
comedy.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Lucas, you are a MMA fighter, boxer. Oh,
Soon to be.
Soon to be boxer.
Yeah.
About
My
to make
bad.
my debut.
This will be,
I
so
can
this-
restart this because I have fucked up
Honestly,
everything so
no,
far.
I kind of like that you don't know. Honestly, I kind of like the
Kinda
leverage
makes
in
it more
this.
fun.
Just want to be just so the audience knows, it is 4:09, and Lucas. I met Lucas, I think, at 4:06. So
It would have been pretty hilarious if I just didn't tell you anything and you were like, so how long you been doing comedy? That's what I should.
so you just moved here from Nashville for comedy, right? So you
Yeah.
are a boxer, not an MMA fighter.
Right.
Are you scared of MMA? Is
I'm
that
not. I actually got into martial
blew
arts first doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu in
Okay.
high school. So everyone's asked me why I haven't taken the MMA route. So because jiu-jitsu is my predominant background, but
yeah.
about to make the boxing debut.
So how many years have you been doing jiu-jitsu now?
Jiu-jitsu, I haven't trained straight jiu-jitsu in a minute since I'm focusing on striking.
Right.
Straight jiu-jitsu, I started in high school, so I think I was 16 or 17, and then after I want to say I was maybe a junior in high school, and I started teaching the kids class there, so I was really invested
that's
into
cool.
it. Yeah, and I competed a couple times in Savannah when I was in college, so everything kind of points to you should be doing MMA if you're going to fight, but
Sure.
I'm kind of abandoning that for this.
Well, I mean, I know, and I'm going to preface this whole podcast. I know nothing about what we are going to be talking
That's why I
about
like
today.
this. That's why I like this so much.
So I've just know that.
I
So,
hear you.
but I mean, boxing, I imagine, is a very good to be experienced in boxing. I imagine would be good for MMA as
You're
a whole.
that's the one where you punch, right?
Yeah. No kicking, because that would be kickboxing,
No
right?
kicking.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, here's what I want to ask, because you mentioned, that age 16, 17. I would imagine, so for stand-up sake, that's a pretty young age to start stand-up. There's a few, like Chappelle started at 14, certain people start around 16, 17. But with MMA, or with mixed martial arts, rather, it's much later, all martial arts, I think, that they start as a kid a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's almost later 16, 17. It's
Do you
kind of
like-
getting a late start.
Did you
It
do
is
like
later.
wrestling and stuff? Like,
I wrestled for like a couple of weeks in high school, and then I stopped because in jiu-jitsu you can be on your back, and in wrestling they're like, do not go to your back. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like ingrained into me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got like a little bit of wrestling experience, but mostly jiu-jitsu. But what you were saying, like, yeah, I like the kids I taught, like a lot of them like young as like 5 years old. And, like, so I kind of got like a late
crazy.
start into it.
Are they
all,
good?
but-
I mean, is there any like 5-year-old prodigy?
I mean, they're
who's,
better
like,
than other
actually-
5-year-olds,
I mean,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
they like probably rule the playground, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're good.
Interesting. Well, they have so much energy, and they also
do.
bounce back quick from injury and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's impossible to
Keep
knock
them
them
down.
out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever been in like a bar fight?
I've never been in a bar fight, no, but I've in high school and
Really grasping for straws here.
I've been in some scuffles and stuff.
Yeah.
But never a bar
What's your
fight.
how many have you lost?
Zero? Luckily.
0? Okay.
Luckily.
Yeah.
I'm one for one of my fighting as well. Got in a fight when I was a sophomore. So the guy kicked me in
And
the
what was
nuts.
her name?
Yeah. Actually, okay.
All right.
I'm gonna be vulnerable for
All right, we'll
our
be here all day.
for our 4 audience members. I wrestled
Okay.
once, and like I joined like a wrestling.
Is that
whatever.
the 75-pound weight class?
I'll say what weight class?
I mean, I was young.
50 and under.
I was young. It was 45 and under. I was young, and I mean, when I say young, I was like 3rd-ish grade, something like that. And I wrestled, and I had one wrestling match, and I lost to a girl. So
I don't know.
It happens.
I don't know how I've never heard that
Yeah.
before.
not something you brag
I think
about.
I do know why.
Not
Yeah.
something you brag about. So yep.
Interesting.
That was fun. Went to school with that
interesting.
girl till I graduated high school.
Don't you have
Never
any
got
other
brought up again.
boxing related questions you want to?
You just had to throw in that he lost a wrestling match to a girl. It's
I just wanted to make myself
Well-
look even less informed on the subject.
yeah.
So
Good news.
No,
Good
no,
news.
I do have actually boxing question.
Please.
Boxing questions.
me your boxing
What
question.
what got you into boxing though?
so
I have always wondered that because you see like people boxing. It's like
yeah.
what gets somebody into that? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah.
Well, I've always just been like a huge fan of the UFC and just MMA in general. And then the story of like how I like got involved in this event and started like boxing predominantly was so it's like a giant charity boxing match that I like found out about like through school, and I did like a little like documentary about it like for one of my class projects. Cause
That's
I went,
cool.
Yeah, because I went to film school. And,
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So after I filmed the documentary, I got talking to Ryan, the guy who like created it all, and he was like, if you want to be in next year's event, we appreciate you filming. And I was like, I gotta take this opportunity. So the reason I like kind of went this route, like boxing and not MMA, is just the opportunity like kind of presented itself.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
interesting. Yeah, you're just there to film. So I do want to plug real quick just before we forget. So the date is May 2nd, right?
Yeah, May
2025. It's Battle on the Bricks 3.
Yep.
It's the third one. Interesting.
He filmed the second one.
And tickets you can purchase tickets for
Yeah,
those
they
now.
are.
So
I think they just went available last
What'd you-
week. So
What'd you say it was called?
it's the Battle on the Bricks 3.
Where is that? Where is it?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, South Carolina. Use our promo code.
yeah. And I don't know. I mean, this image that they've used for the poster, is that last year's event or
It
something
should
like
be,
that?
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
massive. I mean, that's a big event. That's a big space.
it's gonna be really cool because usually whenever people like make their boxing debuts, it's like, I mean, like in like some like little mall or
Sure.
like some gym or something,
Yeah.
and I
Sure.
get to like make mine in an arena.
Yeah.
I think like the capacity is like 5,000 plus. So
Oh, dang, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be like a really big
That's
event.
awesome.
Do you know who you're fighting yet, or is that?
I actually don't yet. We did. There was like some like I think it was just like I'm not like built for very like social events, and they had like a kickoff party that I had to go to. Well, not had to go to, but went to.
Yeah.
And took photos and stuff. And I thought we maybe like would do like a face off or something like
Yeah.
that against who I'm fighting, but I'm not sure yet.
So like, I mean, so you got to get weighed in for boxing,
Yeah.
right? And I know like wrestling, it's like within like a couple, like is it like 3 or 4 pounds or something. Like wrestling, like is the weight class.
Yeah.
is that right?
I think
It's
they're much closer in wrestling, right?
Yeah. What is
smaller.
like a weight class in boxing?
I'm fighting at 145. I think for professional boxing, it's like it's like less than every 10 pounds. I'm not sure about for amateur boxing, but I know that I'm fighting at 145.
So like you could be anywhere from like 140 to 150. Is that right? Or
The day of the weigh-ins, I have to be 145. Unless there's like a pound allowance, I could be like 146. But
that's crazy. I've always wondered like. How does that? Also, y'all were talking a lot of shit. You only weigh 10 pounds more than me. Just want to throw that out there.
Well, if you'd like to be his opponent on May the
That's what they
2nd,
did out. So
let's get you training. You're already dressed like Rocky going for a run today, so this might look like you'd be bouncing a rubber ball in your apartment right now.
dude.
You haven't seen that movie, have you?
Not since I was a child.
Damn,
no, I
dude.
have seen Rocky.
Okay, have you
I've not seen all of them.
Lucas, I'm gonna have to ask you to take over for Michael. Actually,
I've not
I
seen.
have
What does your hat say?
Get over
Atlanta?
yeah.
I'll think of something for that. Anyway,
What a cool way to come at me. That's
I'm off my
a
game.
normal hat, but I will come up with something about it.
I'm off my game today. It's okay.
I'd say you've
Fuck,
been
I
out there
have seen the
begging for
first
change.
Rocky. I've
all
not
day.
seen, the 30 Rockies and then the reboot. I've not seen all those. But
You can skip a few.
It's all like one story. It's all one continuous.
it's a
story.
reboot. It's a different main character. It's a reboot.
It's not a reboot.
You can skip a few of them. Some of them are not good.
Yeah, I know he doesn't win all of them, which is kind of like.
The one with Tommy Gunn
Five-
is just
five
fucking
sucks.
terrible.
That's-
That's
yeah,
five?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
So
know what
bad.
I like? Similar vein, came out roughly the same time. Similar action star. Die Hard.
Wow. I was really wondering where you were going to
Die
take
Hard's
that.
pretty cool. Die Hard 1 and 2 pretty grounded, then it gets kind of crazy.
I've
Sure.
only seen the first one.
Okay, no more shit talking
Oh.
about how
different-
many
it's a
Rockies
different-
I've seen.
Nah, it's
first
different.
of all,
I
It's
think
different.
Culturally, Rocky, you got to see all the Rockies.
Agreed.
but you just said the fifth one
Creed's
sucks.
pretty good.
Thank you.
Creed's
That's what I was
pretty
looking for. That's the reboot.
It's not a reboot though.
It's a different main person. That's a reboot.
Rocky's
It's
in
a
it, though.
sequel series.
Rocky's in it.
Yeah, I mean he can be in it and it still be a reboot of the
It's not
fucking
a, that's
story.
not what
Not
a
a
reboot
reboot.
means.
Yes, it is.
I
No,
went
it's
to
not.
film school. No, it's not.
I'm arguing. I just like movies. I'm arguing with the guy.
You're arguing with a film student who's now a boxer about a boxing movie.
Listen, I'll dig my fucking heels in. I don't care.
If there's one thing we know, it's he will not be proved wrong.
I'll die on the hill. I don't care.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Okay, so according to Google, which who knows if this is true, there's way more boxing.
Did you reboot? Did you Google if it was a reboot or not, or no?
No, there's more boxing weight classes than I thought. There's significantly more than UFC that I'd be familiar with. Apparently, there's one called minimum weight, which is 105 pounds. That's pretty low.
So I'd be in lightweight,
Um,
I guess. That's cool. For
Light
me.
flyweight is 108. There's
Oh, I don't-
112, 115, 118, 122, 126. Like
So
basically
it's like every 3 to 5
every
pounds.
2 to 4
Yeah.
pounds. Yeah. So what?
That's crazy.
You said
So-
you're at 145, Lucas?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that would kind of be between. It looks like on the professional scale.
Gotcha.
Super lightweight would be 140, and welterweight would be 147. So somewhere between those two.
So that is kind of crazy to me. So if you come in under, can you still fight? Like if
Oh
can-
yeah.
but
you
if you
can't
come
be
in
over.
over,
Yep.
you can't fight.
Even like a couple of ounces over, you're no good.
I get it, but that's because I've always heard like boxers and all of them like with weight classes, they always have like the cutting phases and all that, and like it's like kind of unhealthy and stuff
It can be.
too. So like, do you
Yeah.
just like maintain the weight like
Yeah,
as close as possible?
I'm not gonna like say what I like walk around at, but I'm not like cutting like an unhealthy amount. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
But some of these like, I mean, I don't think for like the amateurs, but for like professional like MMA fighters and boxers, some of them are like cutting like 20, 25, 30 pounds even.
yeah, to get into like the lower weight
Yeah,
class
it's-
or something.
Well, there's all those examples too, especially in UFC, which is really my only like combat sports knowledge. But there's that one in particular. They have far fewer weight classes, bigger gaps and ranges.
I
So
like
you
that
have
better.
dudes that walk around way fucking bigger than what they fight at. I mean, and then a lot of times they'll fight at one weight till they start to get a little older, and then they naturally just go up a weight class because they can't cut anymore. Their body can't sustain it. Like Alex Pereira right now is the light heavyweight champion,
Yeah,
but
205.
he traditionally had fought lower
Which makes no sense.
and was I know he
It's
was
huge.
just he was massive. He's still massive.
That's wild. Just the cut. I mean, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
because like you can't fight somebody like you couldn't fight somebody who weighs 60 pounds more than you. Like they just have more.
It's been done.
I mean, it's been done.
It's been done.
It's been done.
Back
Japan
in the
used to
day,
do
it
some
was
crazy
done.
shit back in
Yeah.
the day. Japan has some wild exhibitions.
I mean, I get it, but like it's also like I understand, but it's just like the cutting
Yeah.
and like how strict it is. I don't see 5 pounds. Like, is 5 pounds really like a big deal? Like, would you think? I don't. This is
maybe not 5 pounds.
ignorance.
Maybe
Yeah.
not 5 pounds.
in
but
boxing, maybe not as much, but there's probably some argument in wrestling.
Especially
In
like,
wrestling,
yeah,
I could
wrestling.
see.
Yeah.
I guess I could see it in wrestling, and then if you're going to like MMA and stuff, then it does matter. Yeah,
Sure.
I guess it all matters because then there's ground.
Well, what's interesting to me is even on the boxing scale, there is a weight where it's just this and above. So like heavyweight is 200 plus, in professional.
Really?
Well,
That light?
200 is cruiserweight, and then heavyweight it just says unlimited beyond 200.
I mean, so it's like I don't mean
So
somebody
somebody
who's-
say it's unlimited?
That's what it says on this art. So does that mean that a 290-pound person could fight at 205 and it's considered a heavyweight bout? That's what I'm saying.
I guess the 205 person's got a little more juice. They can probably
Sure.
like go for a little longer than the 290. That's why it's
Yeah.
fair. But like
Well, there's examples
that
of
feels
that everywhere
light,
too, right?
doesn't it? Like
I
200
would say
pounds.
so.
That feels kind of light. Like people just
Yeah.
walk around healthily at 200.
Because I mean,
pounds.
what's Tyson Fury fighting at right now? He's massive,
He's
right?
huge.
He's 6'9" or something.
But I didn't know there wasn't a cap in boxing because UFC has a cap of 265.
There could be, and this
That
article
feels
might
light to
just
me
not
too.
have it.
Like
Really? 265 feels
I
like?
know that's heavy. Like I'm not saying that that's not heavy. That's two of me.
He's
okay?
also a weight expert. You just keep challenging
his minor was in weight.
I have a minor in weight.
Minor.
No, that was my minor in college.
My minor is pounds. Yeah.
That's still my minor, and I'm not even in college anymore.
No, but like I'm not saying 260. What did you say? 260 or 265? Whatever.
6'9", by the way, Tyson Fury. 6'9",
How much does he weigh?
85-inch reach.
85 pounds. Damn.
Hold on. No,
Lean 85. That's a lean 6'9".
For his Francis Ngannou fight, he was 277 pounds, which is just fucking
For 6'9", that
massive.
feels light too. Does
I
it
don't
not?
know, man. No, it doesn't. That's
I don't think
almost
it feels
300
light.
pounds.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying though.
I
Like,
think I do. Maybe.
I'm not saying 265 is nothing.
Well, we should also mention
but I know
Tyson
you can be
Fury-
a healthy 265.
Tyson's also not the most jacked,
Yeah, I was
muscular
gonna say, you
guy.
look at him, you'd be like, that's not the
Because
healthiest.
like muscle weighs more than fat.
Right, so he's a little lighter because
I-
he's not jacked.
I was gonna say, what you said makes sense, but if you saw Tyson Fury, you'd be like, this is not a muscle guy.
Let me see
He's-
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
he's
see this dude.
Yeah, for anyone listening, Tyson Fury is one of the most notorious heavyweight champions. In
I
the history of
obviously
boxing.
know everything.
And he's
about-
been
a lot about
recently
what we're talking
fighting
about right
Francis
now.
Ngannou, which is interesting. So like, there's a comparison of the two of them.
I'm gonna assume he's the very unhealthy looking white
Correct.
guy in that picture.
He is the Gypsy King, to be exact. This is the reference because the
He looks
using
like-
for those two.
He looks
yeah.
like an uncle who beats like his whole family.
Well,
Not just-
ironically, his entire family has a long history at boxing, and his brother fought Jake Paul. So,
Oh,
Who's
that's
the only
cool.
one who beat Jake Paul?
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yeah. okay,
agreed.
good.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go there because I think boxing is much like UFC or I would almost argue even comedy has become more popular as social media and things get out there and clips exist and characters like Tyson Fury kind of break through. But do you think that the celebrity YouTuber boxing thing, like, is it in the conversation amongst the boxing gym? Do people talk about it?
I don't have like too many conversations about like the YouTube fighters and stuff
Right.
like that. I don't have too many conversations about them and stuff, but it's like a double-edged sword because I like can't stand all like the YouTube fighting stuff. But
Yeah.
Jake Paul, I think, has gotten to a level where I don't want to talk about like the Mike Tyson fight because that was all.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot.
But
That's a lot.
but
Let's share it.
no,
Was
I
it
mean,
staged?
it
Was
not
it
sta-
all for the money?
It was definitely all for the money. I don't believe it was staged.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, he was
like-
fighting a 60-year-old.
Yeah, and people say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Mike looked so great on the bag and on the pads." Yeah, well, bag and pads and mitts,
I
don't-
could
they
look-
don't hit that.
And they don't move.
You could
Yeah,
edit
yeah,
a video to make anybody look good.
Yeah, exactly.
I could look good at like.
Well, he
with
probably
you-
just collapsed as soon as they stopped recording that video. Like,
Yeah.
They just sprint through some drills and then collapse.
Exactly. I didn't watch the fight
Well, it's
because
a 31-year age gap. That's pretty.
yeah.
Some would say
Yeah.
pretty
Were
significant.
they the same within 5 pounds of each other or no?
They're pretty close, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
I think so.
I think
That's
they
kinda-
did have to weigh in.
Well, at least that's
Yeah,
something.
but
Yeah.
30 years is
30 years is
it's a lot of time. Not to mention the amount of punches.
He
Mike
was
Tyson's
already
taken
aging
to the
out of
face.
boxing by the time Jake Paul was born.
Literally.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's kind of wild.
I mean, aside from the Roy Jones fight, I don't even know when was his last professional like regulation fight.
It's been a long
Like,
time ago, and
20 years
at that
maybe?
point he
Probably
was
longer ago than
at
that.
that point he still wasn't even like Mike Tyson.
Right.
Like he was like getting out of it. At
Yeah,
that point,
Right.
so.
Because people age out of boxing fairly.
He definitely quit boxing before Jake Paul was on the Disney Channel, which is an interesting
I
set
didn't
of
even know
data.
Jake Paul was on the Disney Channel
Sure
till
was.
just now.
Sure was.
But people age out of boxing like fairly young, don't they?
Well, I mean,
Like-
you're getting hit in the face pretty significant.
Yeah. I mean, like
This whole conversation
what I mean?
is
Like-
fascinating.
Have you heard of CT?
Yeah,
like at 17,
boxers
you're
are
just
kinda
done,
pussies,
right?
huh?
Yeah. Listen, all I'm saying is I could take Jake Paul.
Jesus.
And I'm funnier than
Here we
Matt
go.
Rife.
There it is.
There it is.
That's what I was waiting
Yep.
on.
What do you?
The age is like 40's an old boxer, right?
Yeah,
I think
that's-
like 30, like young, like 30s is kind of getting like
Normally.
older
Weight plays a
in
factor
boxing.
into it also.
Sure.
Usually, like the heavier you are, like the longer of a career you can have, and the
Yeah.
lighter, for whatever reason, you don't seem to be able to last as long.
Probably taking more punches the lighter you are,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like has less fat to go through.
It's a lot harder to absorb them for
Yeah.
sure. When you're 105 pounds, that's a small fella. That's
You have one fight and you're done.
Yeah, that's little.
2 if you win.
That could be a female boxing weight class. Also, I'm not exactly. Sure.
I've never heard of 105 or.
Yeah, 105 does feel, dude. Like
Minimum weight.
I'm pretty
class.
skinny. Like I'm pretty skinny, and 105. You imagine me 30 pounds lighter. That's
Right,
105 right there. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, apparently the Olympic kind of is different on the Olympic rules and weight classes. But I mean, again, not to keep going to UFC, but that's my only knowledge of boxing, really. I know that like Daniel Cormier came from the wrestling background where his weight class was very different than now in MMA and coming in. That's very interesting. But I mean, Lucas, the weight class you're fighting at, do you think that's difficult for you to cut down to? Do you think you could see yourself going up or down in the future?
Honestly, I could probably go lower. Whenever I've competed in jiu-jitsu, it's been at 147. Jiu-jitsu weight classes are weird, but around 147.
Interesting.
So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you prep for a boxing? Like how do you like train for boxing? Like a boxing match? And I hope that doesn't sound like a stupid fucking question.
No,
but,
I mean,
It's kind of a necessary, stupid question.
Yeah. I mean, I just
Because our audience is predominantly going to not be familiar with boxing either. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's a
Right,
good place
right.
to start.
Yeah, so I mean, anyone can do it. You just really just go to the gym, listen to your coach, and then 2 to 3 days a week you
I'm
spar.
out. I'm already out. I can't. I've already
I
lost it.
gotta go to the gym.
You do have to go to
God.
the gym,
Yeah.
but it's fun. It's a good time. And then outside of like actual boxing training, I try to do weight training twice a week, and then try to run 3 miles or not run. I like to cycle because I don't like running.
Good call.
Yeah.
neither.
Running's harder on your knees, so I like to cycle.
Good call.
But-
Well, so then, I mean, before that, jiu-jitsu obviously is a very different skill set. But I mean, is there anything else in your life you think has kind of prepared you or just led you to this career decision or passion decision, whatever you want to call it? I mean, it's kind of interesting to go from, hey, I'm here recording this event to now I'm a boxer. You know, that's quite a leap. So, I mean, there's definitely been some mental progression from that moment, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just like jumping on the opportunity. Like, you know, you said you're a UFC fan. I'm a giant UFC fan. Like,
Yeah.
I've been a UFC fan since, did you play the video games?
Mm-hmm.
I played the video games
You played
too.
the video
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
the UFC video games,
Yeah.
since Undisputed 3. So
Sure.
that was like,
Great game.
I'd have been like 10 years old or something like
Yeah.
that. And I've just always followed the sport. And, you know, it's like something you kind of like dream of, like, I want to fight in an arena and like knock
Of
someone
course.
out in front of like however many people. And I'm like, you know, this opportunity like presented itself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to do it.
That's
like,
very-
I'd be
yeah.
doing myself a disservice if I didn't jump on it. So,
Right.
That's very similar to comedy. I mean, like,
Yeah. It's
so
like
you
when
don't
the
just get
opportunity
offered to
strikes.
like
yeah.
be on a show or like anything, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, oh, there's a club in my area
Right.
that has an open mic.
And was not formerly here.
Yeah,
I might as well try this.
might as well try.
Yeah.
That's very similar.
Yeah. Except the consequences are not quite as physically.
Depends on how
That's
edgy
true.
you get.
That's
I mean,
true.
like-
I've seen some very physical reactions.
Yeah, it depends. Like, what are you joking about? You know what I mean? Like, whenever you're like training for it, like this is also going to sound like a dumb fucking question.
That's all
know
good.
that.
I love how
But
you preface each question as like a dumb question.
I just
so.
want you all to
Yeah.
know that I do not know what I'm talking about right now. So,
Oh, it shows. Go ahead.
yeah. Obviously, when the day of the fight, you're going to be getting hit. Do you train like getting hit? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Do you train like getting hit?
like
You mean sparring?
but do you actually get hit? You know what I'm
in
saying?
sparring,
In
yeah,
sparring,
yeah.
Like
yeah.
hard, like you would in the.
I mean, some days you go hard. You don't want to like spar. Do you know what sparring is? Like the concept of it.
like it's like
It's like you're like fighting
Practicing.
someone. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fighting. So you're like hitting each other, but you're never gonna go like, unless you're stupid, you're never gonna go like 100% and try to like knock your
Right.
training partners out. But
There are guys
why?
who do that.
You know,
also. Like,
like get you ready for it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
there are guys who do that. I think like Sean Strickland very famously goes pretty
Yeah,
hard with
that dude's
sparring and
crazy.
gets fucked up in training all the time. And
See,
it's
it's not a dumb
a,
question.
It's
People
not
do
a
it.
brilliant move. It's just
I know.
not-
I understand why you shouldn't do it because, like,
Yeah.
you know, like I know, like in football, you know, you don't go like full force and
Right.
practice. I get that, But it's
We don't want to get hurt leading up
just
to.
kind of like
yeah.
want to get ready to get punched in the face.
Sure.
Like the best way to get ready for it is by getting punched in the face. You know what I mean?
You get punched in the face at like different
Yeah.
Have either of you guys been like hit in the face before?
I've sparred with friends. I've never had like a legit match, but we went pretty hard one time actually. So I'm pretty
I've been
familiar
hit in
with
the face before.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if you
It's
know
not fun.
No, it's not. Yeah,
Not my favorite thing to
it's a
do.
sensation you kind of cling on to.
You
You know
know
what
it.
it feels like.
I'll say, but if you do it consistently, it's really not the worst thing in the world. Like
Right.
I've never been knocked out before. I'm sure that really sucks. But
Yeah.
once you you just get used to it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Have you ever broken your nose before?
I've never broken my nose.
That's good.
No.
Yeah.
Not until May 2nd.
that tends to help.
Just kidding. I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, the guy that you're up against, that's that would make me very anxious too, not knowing who it is. Or do you kind of almost prefer that in a way? Because it really doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah, to be honest, I really don't care.
Right.
Like in jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff, you can get on your phone and look up the name of whoever you're gonna be. I really don't care who it's gonna be. I'm just excited for the opportunity.
And you're gonna fight
know.
either way,
Yeah,
right? So it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
I think I'd rather not know.
Well, until they're like, we had to drop out. Brock Lesnar's going to fill in.
I mean, at that point,
You're going to be fighting Tyson Fury.
Who was that guy who he was an MMA fighter who broke his leg and it broke in that weird way?
There's a couple
the
examples.
kick that
Yeah.
I'm talking about where
It's
it
happened 3
wrapped
times in the
around.
Probably Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva.
Or Weidman.
And it was Anderson
Right.
Silva because I
Yeah.
know that
Was
name.
it?
That was that's my.
Well, so the weird thing about that is he
broke.
broke his leg kicking someone like that, and then he blocked Chris Weidman's kick to break Chris Weidman's the exact same way years later
It's very funny.
in a disgusting video.
Nasty.
Oh my god!
Do you
I can't
remember
even.
the worst video I've ever seen in my life? Is that Duke player? No, it wasn't Duke. They were playing
Kevin Ware.
Duke. Kevin Weir.
Yep.
Who did he play for? Kansas or someone? I think
Kentucky maybe.
Kentucky or Kansas.
Absolutely terrible.
Playing Duke. I remember that.
Where his shin comes out.
Ugh.
Yep. He goes up and he lands.
Did you
just
see
the
that video?
wrong way.
No,
That's
no.
the worst thing you'll ever
Is that
see in your
is that
entire.
soccer or
was
football?
basketball.
Or
Basketball. Yeah.
No, it's
He-
2-0.
As he
Could have been
comes
soccer.
down,
With how bad it was, you'd think it was soccer.
Yeah.
Honestly, but yeah,
it's bad. As he
It-
comes down, it just the shin escapes his leg,
and
I mean,
he's
it
just sitting there
straight- yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
rough.
horrific.
yeah.
It's pretty horrific. I
You
know that
who-
because
you know
I
who
showed
did not
that video.
become an NBA player.
You?
Kevin Weir.
Oh,
Anyway,
He did not. He did not have much of a career after that. I don't
Yeah.
believe.
Paul George broke his. Was it Paul George? Remember that?
I don't know. I'm out of my element here.
Okay, never mind.
Paul George, I thought were 2 of the members of the Beatles. I'll be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about. Anyways,
Paul George, very famous basketball player.
no, I know that.
Yeah.
This is a comedy show. Anyway,
Broke his leg very badly.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was a joke. My bad.
well, I do
That was,
want to.
that was what you get for that one. So, anyway.
I do just want to say my relationship to our guest today is that we worked together at the movies a long time ago, like when we were much younger, and in my case, much more retarded. I don't know about him, but
Yep.
it wasn't good. So, but then since then, pretty much our only interactions have been via Snapchat arguing over UFC matchups
Yeah,
throughout the
pretty
years
much.
because we have opposite.
So you guys haven't talked in
favorite
person in like
fighters.
5 years.
Yeah, it's been
just
a minute,
arguing
yeah.
over
Pretty cool.
the UFC tends to be our relationship.
You're a
So,
Dustin Poirier fan, dude.
I'm a big Dustin Poirier fan. Yeah. So and he's a Conor fan. So we're
Conor McGregor.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
couple of years there where it was like you're wrong.
Conor McGregor's not very liked right now.
Yeah,
is
I was
he?
gonna say,
Yeah.
the last time you talked to me, I was a Conor McGregor fan.
Sure. That didn't age well.
Yeah,
That didn't
Didn't
age
he,
well.
It really didn't. I'm still a fan of him, his fighting style and stuff.
Sure.
But his lifestyle, outside of
Well,
fighting.
I still like R. Kelly's music, so it's you can separate the art from the artist.
Dude, we were watching. Sorry, on the topic of it, we were watching Madagascar. We have a daughter.
How the fuck is that on the topic of anything?
Trust me, we're watching Madagascar. I have a toddler. That's context.
Okay,
She's
yeah.
almost 2. She likes movies.
I watched it not that long ago, and I don't even have a toddler, so you don't.
Whenever
have
they
to justify
walk
it.
up, whenever they get,
Sure.
whenever they get to the island and they walk up on the lemur party,
Yeah.
fucking Chris Rock's the zebra. I
Yeah.
can't think of the name.
Yeah.
Chris Rock says it's like a puffy party.
Yeah. Sure does.
I'm just like, oh,
Didn't age well.
did not. That one did not age.
It's
did
a
not.
freak off in the jungle, is what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Did not age
Freak
well at all.
off in the jungle.
Freak off in the jungle. Yeah.
So you worked at the movie theater.
I did.
Speaking of movies.
Speaking of movies, what was the
we
craziest thing that ever happened to you specifically at the movie theater?
Yeah. Now this I like.
Gosh.
This takes me back.
The worst was whenever you'd have to stop people from having sex in the theater. That
Like
was
full blown.
I disagree. That was my favorite part.
Sex. Yeah, I know it was you. I know yours. Perv. You walked
It
in
was
with phone
actually
out.
me that he was stopping.
We're people having full blown sex and just making out. This is.
Oh no,
what
full,
the people
full
want to know.
blown.
Yeah. Masturbation counts. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I've never dealt with anyone doing that. But
I think
He
that's
never caught
less,
me.
You know, that's less crazy than somebody full blown having sex because that's 2 people
Yeah.
being fucking trashy.
Did you really? Did you have that a lot? Because I didn't. I walked in on a
Twice.
friend of mine from high school getting blown in the party room one time, and I just tiptoed out backwards and didn't turn the lights on because I knew who it was. And
Okay.
that was awkward.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I've made out in a movie theater before. I think everyone's done that before.
Sure.
Like, that's normal. I
That's
get
normal.
that.
Sure.
I get that.
That's kids, yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
This is adult stuff we're talking about.
full blown, like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
where they use them protection.
I mean, I heard
I
the
didn't ask.
okay.
I didn't ask that.
yeah, you don't really
They came
stop
prepared with a blanket
for
like,
questionnaires. Oh, that's
they-
good.
yeah.
That
Is that like a red flag when somebody walks into a
It
movie
should
theater
be.
with a
should
blanket?
I mean, some people get cold. I don't want.
I mean, I get cold too, but I'm not a pussy, you know. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna go into public with a fucking blanket. You know what? Am I
Yeah.
8? Like,
Well, I've mentioned on the show before, but the particular theater we worked at was part of a corporation that had some.
They sold blankets.
They sold blankets as
Yeah,
well, but they had some.
oh, that's just encouraging.
well,
And I'm sure your fucking handbooks had to let
we
them
also had
be.
condoms in every bathroom. But
Yeah.
they
The little
had a
like
history.
vending machines with like breath
Yeah.
mints and condoms.
Sure. Well, they had a history of violence, we'll call it, of incidents in the domestic terrorism realm. So they were pretty cracked
Yeah,
down on
the
things.
Batman shooting.
Right. Correct.
Happened.
Correct.
Was it Regal?
No, but
No.
I'm not going to say. But
Was it Carmike? I don't care. I didn't work there.
No. So the interesting part of
AMC?
that is
No.
that not only the company but the customers were a little more. I found to be a little more on edge or a little more paranoid. We had a guy
They
who
bring
worked
bulletproof
at
blankets in.
no, we had a guy who worked at a fast food place right behind the movies, and so like almost every day on his break or whatever, he would come over and he would watch. And he was a black guy who would wear a beanie and a black trench coat. And the amount of times that I got racist old white ladies coming up to me in the hall and being like, "There's a guy in there."
Said he'd
Who's
watch movies
making
on
me
his
nervous.
break.
Yeah, like he'd just come every day. Just about.
How long of a fucking break did this guy
I don't know. It
have?
could have been afterward. He was always stoned too, so they would smell marijuana on him, and he was in a trench coat, and they would get freaked out, and they would come, just racist.
He's not going to
ladies.
shoot someone up when he's stoned.
Right? They just old white ladies. That's what I'm saying.
Was he a drug dealer and
Bristol.
they're robbing him? That's the only time he's going to shoot someone if he's stoned.
No, he was usually just asleep in the front row, just chilling out.
Oh, I love that. That's
Yeah.
a vibe, sitting in the front row of a movie theater.
100%.
Yeah.
Every time, and I go in and see that it was, and I can't remember that dude's name, but at least 4 times in my
Who-
years there.
So who was the theater? What was the theater?
Cinemark.
Cinemark.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that people would associate like, oh, it was the movie theater's fault.
Right. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Did you? Let me ask you this, Lucas, because I think I've mentioned this on the show before too. But when I started, I believe was kind of the tail end of this training process, and you started a couple years after I did. But when I started, they showed me all my training videos in an auditorium alone. Did they do that for you at all?
No,
Okay.
that sounds awesome.
I
though.
thought that I was kind of the tail end. So Knox, our mutual friend Knox, and most of our coworkers from that movie theater all saw it in the theater, and I was one of the last ones to do so. But they did have a zombie apocalypse training. Have I talked about
You
this?
told me about that.
Did they still have that
No,
when you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
God, that sucks, man. It was so because Knox told me about it. My friend who was training me at the time, and I was like, "There's no way that's real." But
Yeah.
I will say, for a movie theater company, a shockingly low budget training video.
You think they're going to invest serious cash in their internal video?
It was pretty sad. It was pretty even for that standard. It was pretty.
Yeah.
It was like like an episode of The Office where Michael would wheel everybody into the conference room and turn on the TV, and it's fucking bad zombie reenactment.
I
It was
love a
like
low
that.
budget.
Like you gotta
movie.
give me like some detail or something. Like
Oh yeah, you tell me.
Yeah,
It's a funny
like-
story. Tell it.
I just remember like really bad prosthetic makake and stuff, and the only things that I remember was they.
Oh, so it's live action.
It's live action, and it
It'd be even
just
better if it was that corporate fucking. You know what I'm talking about? That corporate animation.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
no.
honestly.
Unfortunately, this is real people who probably made very little money to do this, but they.
They made nothing. They made whatever their hourly wage working for the movie.
The
theater
only
was.
few things I remember were you're supposed to take brooms, which was a big part of the job. Brooms, like everybody had their favorite broom, and if you took my broom, I'd fucking stab you.
I forgot about that. It's so true.
Broom, we had a specific broom closet. Everybody had their broom. Anyways, so you were supposed to take your best broom and wedge it in between the doors to keep it closed. And then there's these metal. You remember the metal plate coverings that go over the cups at the end of the day? You would take those, and they had a hole in the top where you're supposed to lift up off the counter, and you would use that as a defensive shield. And sharpen like brooms and stuff to you. I swear to God, they had this whole thing.
Yeah, you didn't go
Yeah.
on that detail. Yeah.
The main, excuse me, main thing I remember is you're supposed to go to the roof and wait for extraction.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
it.
That's what you do in the event of a zombie apocalypse if you're at the movies.
Hey, if you're at Cinemark specifically. Yeah. No, that's cool. I never worked in a movie theater. Thankfully.
What was your Honestly, that was one of my favorite jobs. I don't know.
I really
did you,
enjoyed it. Yeah.
I say thankfully. I think that would have been a cool place to work.
What age did you start?
16, and I left at 19 maybe or something like that.
I worked at
For like a high school
McDonald's.
kid, it's
2.5 years.
It's a very fun
It was
job.
perfect, yeah.
I worked at McDonald's from 16 to 19.
Gross. McDonald's sucks, dude.
Yeah. So
I will say, whoever came up with the idea to use those hard bristled brooms and sweep popcorn on thick carpet, just fuck them, because that's literally not how it works. It just
you
breaks.
sweep the carpet?
Yeah.
You don't vacuum it?
Nope. I mean, we had one vacuum that never ever got used. You swept the floors and stuff, and it's carpet that's very short haired, so it's like designed for that purpose, but it just breaks into 1,000 pieces. It's really interesting actually that he and I share this whole history of sweeping floors for a living, and you have no idea what we're talking about.
I mean, I worked at McDonald's. I had to sweep a floor or two in my day.
Yeah,
you
this
know?
is
not
this
carpet,
is
though.
literally my job.
It is not carpet. No.
At one point,
I
I
had
would
to
get to
scrub the
work.
floor. I had holes in my shoes at one point because I was poor and I couldn't afford new ones.
I mean,
That
I would
wasn't
literally
fun.
get to work and sweep, and then 8 hours later stop. That like sweeping was the job at one point.
I lost feeling in my arms from the amount of grease burns I got.
I
working
bet.
at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So that
I
was
got
my
kind
job.
of jacked up by some popcorn kernels over the years too. They go down your shirt.
Oh, I
That's
can
the
imagine that
worst.
oil.
Yeah.
I can imagine that popcorn oil's got to be bad. Okay, so I got a question for you too, since I never worked in a movie theater. What demographic is historically the worst at a movie theater? Like,
Are you asking for racism right now?
I'm like, is it like old ladies? Like, are they the messiest? Is it like after church crowd? Is it the children? Who's
I
the
actually
worst?
have two answers for this.
Who's
but
the
you
worst?
Go, you go ahead. Yeah, I feel like you have a different answer than I do.
I would say like the stereotypical like white kids with the broccoli haircut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very loud.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, on the weekends.
You guys ever have to kick a lot of people out of movies?
I've done it a
Not
few
a
times.
lot, but occasionally.
What gets somebody kicked out of a movie? Like
Being disruptive
Yeah, I mean,
over
loud.
and over again.
something funny.
Which
It's
we had a
comedy
general
podcast,
manager.
Nathaniel. Come on.
Well, we had a general manager that was great, and so he would actually do. Rarely was I escorting someone out. It, actually, maybe never. It would be just reporting things.
I used to have to escort people out of Verizon all the time. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, we've heard.
That was fun.
So, well, for me,
135 pounds getting people the fuck out.
that's
Anyway.
a two-part question. What was the worst of the movie? Because there's
Yeah.
one group that is my least favorite at the register, and then there's
This
another.
could sound so. I can't
Old
wait to hear
ladies.
what you
Well,
say.
old
This-
ladies at the register.
The blacks. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All the sound bites. No, I'm kidding.
I really wanted like a duh duh duh, but I didn't have
I'm
that,
kidding.
so I went
this,
for that.
This theater was in Bristol. We had almost no blacks, but
We're saying blacks. Like, quit.
well, we had almost none. Anyways, so the worst at the register for sure, which I think this goes for any job I've ever had in customer service, is the person who comes up and is arrogant or annoying, but every other sentence ends with, I used to work here. I got that shit all the time at the movies.
Fuck
Because everybody
those
goes to the movies,
people.
right? Everybody goes, and even if you quit going to the movies, you still. I mean, if you quit working there, you still go.
Yeah.
And so
It's not
at
like you
least
can go to a
once
different
week,
movie theater.
all the time, somebody be like, "And can you put 7 layers of butter?" I used to work here, and I'm like, "I'll kill myself." Is what
When I
yeah.
started working at McDonald's, obviously I'm still at McDonald's, live in America.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, you're a cold-blooded American. Congratulations.
It's been 10 years since I've worked at McDonald's. I've been to that McDonald's one fucking time. So
Did you say that you used to work there?
No.
Like on purpose, you've just gone once, or like
Just I will go somewhere else. If I'm in Boones Creek, I'll just go. I'm just like, I'm
You
not going to
can't
the
do
place
it.
I worked.
Yeah.
I know what we did to that oil. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I do, and I don't want to know. What
dropped
you
a
did to
quarter in the filet of fish oil one time, and
Jesus
they did not drain they didn't drain the oil for like a month. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Lucas. Did you ever run into another thing that our specific theater chain did is they would do birthday parties where there's a discount on concessions because you would get these little snack packs, they call them.
Bulk rate.
And so, right. So, but it'd be like a little cardboard tray,
Yeah,
scoop
yeah, those are
popcorn,
cool.
gummies, things for kids. Every time that there was a birthday party, some fucking kid got all hopped up on all the popcorn and soda and puked. Every time. And those little trays would be everywhere. Popcorn. Birthdays were the worst.
they suck to make too, because you gotta like put the little box together and
Yep.
everything.
I don't think I've ever thrown up at a movie theater, and
Kids do.
I'm pretty proud of that.
do
Kids do.
sometimes.
And a lot of times,
Kids just throw up.
kids just throw up.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
They just throw up places.
They're still learning. What's
My daughter has
poisonous?
thrown up both Christmases she's been in this world. She has
Interesting.
thrown up.
That
so.
could be reoccurring.
Christmas Day,
Is there like any
first Christmas Day and
nausea?
then like December 26th she threw up this year. Fun times.
Interesting.
What?
I
On me both times.
You
Just
know,
want to point
like,
that out.
the 2 years or 2 or 3, however long I taught kids jujitsu for, I don't think I ever had a kid throw up.
Really? That's kind of shocking because they're
Now that I
choking
think-
each other
yeah,
and getting
yeah.
all sweaty.
When I was in the 5th grade, this guy Colin, I don't remember his last name, so it's okay. It's Colin. It's a common name. He just like stood up in the middle of class. My teacher was like, "Colin, what are you doing?" And he just walked halfway to the fucking trash can of the room, and just did not make it. Just threw up on the floor.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And
Did he like walk calmly? Or
Yeah, he like calmly got up, started
wasn't in a
walking to the
hurry.
trash can, and just like he didn't make it. Just threw up on the floor.
Well, he already knew he was never gonna make it. He was like,
Maybe
I
if
might
he
as
didn't
well.
like walk calmly, he could have like put some effort into
No
it.
point in rushing. I'm not
He
gonna
like
make it.
he finished throwing up, and he just was like, "I'm gonna go to the nurse." And my teacher was like,
Okay,
"Yeah,
sure.
do that."
Did you ever a lot of times at the movies I would find like whole bags of popcorn and 4 drinks or whatever on the ramp like halfway to the can, like they
Yeah.
made it
Oh,
halfway
fuck
and went,
yeah.
I'm just gonna set this here and then finish walking out past the trash can. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you not just throw it away? Or sometimes they would set it next to the trash can on the floor, which still to this day I don't understand why.
What years did you guys work there? Like I'm trying to think of the movies that came out. At the
I would have
times.
been 20 I think early 2016 through 2019 and then you came maybe 2 years after that
Yeah,
or
it's like
something.
So you guys are there for like all of the good Marvel movies.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was, yeah.
How was
Yeah.
that? I imagine those people are.
Honestly, they don't stick out to me quite as
Really?
much. Yeah, I was there. I want to say Force Awakens came out like in the first few weeks I was there. That was pretty crazy.
That came out December 18th, 2016.
Okay.
That was my 21st birthday when it
Jesus
came out.
It's like,
It came out on my 21st birthday.
Now name like the
Okay.
release date of every other Star Wars.
No, I've only seen the original trilogy. I've not seen the rest of them.
But I thought you were having an autistic fit on me there for a second. I'll be honest.
No,
You're like 34 degrees outside. There was the light snow on the ground.
No, it came out. I just remember I was like, everyone was like hyped up. They're like, the new Star Wars
Yeah.
comes out December 18th. And I'm like, that's my fucking
Okay.
21st birthday.
So
and I was
yes,
very
I
excited.
had started working there that fall, I believe. But the one, there's a few that I remember. The one I really remember is fucking Beauty and the Beast because we had that thing for like the whole time I was there. The 2 years after it never left the. And
Yeah.
if it'd leave, it'd be gone for 3 weeks and then it'd come back.
Kind of like
Re-released.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I feel like every time I look at what's in theaters right now,
It's still
Deadpool and
out.
Wolverine is
Yeah.
still in theaters.
I'm
so.
thinking that Beauty and the Beast holds some sort of a record for how long a movie
Yeah.
was in. I mean, we had that shit forever.
That's the one with Hermione, right?
Yes.
I couldn't think of
That
her name.
actually hurt my head to think about what you're saying, but yes.
I can't think of her name. But
Can't even-
Yes.
Emma Watson or Stone?
Emma Hermione, I think.
Watson.
Yeah,
Watson.
Watson.
Stone is
Yeah.
Gwen Stacy
yeah.
from
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Sure. So,
Fun times.
do any movies stick out to you, Lucas, from when you were there? I mean, you like that job too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was a great job. Dude, honestly, I would like, cause like the Thursday was like the special like early release day. I would always
Right.
make sure I had like Thursday off to like go see the movie.
Oh, that's
every
dope.
single time.
And you guys didn't have to
Yeah.
pay for him?
Technically,
Y'all had to fucking pay for your movies?
There
What?
was a weird rule.
Yeah.
It was like if you had the day off, you could go for free if you were not on the schedule. But towards the end, at least my experience, I didn't exactly get along with management. Towards the end, if I had the day off and I was going to see a movie and they knew I had the day off, they would text me and ask me to come in and cover a shift. And when I said no, that then barred me from using that free ticket that day. They did that to me multiple times. But again, I had a very toxic relationship.
Fuck those people, dude.
Agreed.
I think there's like a special rule about Marvel movies too.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Any
Why?
movie you'd care to see was exempt from the
Yeah.
free ticket.
Why?
After like a
I don't
certain
know.
amount of like weeks, I think. Like,
Yeah,
My-
it was like 2 months in, you could go see the new Star Wars for free on your day off.
My
But why wait 2 months? Just pay.
Yeah.
And tickets were cheap at this theater too, like $6.
my sister-in-law worked at AMC before it shut down here, and then now, or not AMC, Carmike before it shut down. Now it's AMC.
Yeah.
She worked there for like 2 or 3 years, and I did not buy a movie ticket for 2 or 3 years. Period. Like she just let us in for free all the time. I mean,
Nice.
she can't get fired now. She probably wasn't supposed to do that, but ooh, I have something else. Okay, I don't know if y'all's theater did this. So tell me why the fuck I buy my tickets online for movies, and then nobody checks my goddamn ticket
It's a very different experience than what I will say. I felt like our theater was a little
because that makes
not
me
necessarily
so
behind the times or
fucking mad.
antiquated. I would just say more traditional almost because we had like a podium
Yeah.
where somebody ripped a physical
AMC
ticket
has a
and gave it to you.
podium,
But there's not anybody
and
there.
nobody checks my fucking ticket.
The
quit
theater I
buying.
go to.
So
in
tell me why I
Charleston-
spend $28 on 2 movie tickets and nobody checks my ticket.
Well, if either of us worked for that company or within the last 3 years, we could probably explain it to you, but we don't. So I'm not sure.
It's okay. I just
You're
get
getting
angry.
very heated over something we
Just
don't have
assuming
the
we're
answer
like
to.
corporate cinema.
I was angry.
I'm not Mr.
Gets angry.
Cinemark. I'm
There
not
was some-
sure.
Where was I the other day? I bought tickets for something the other day, and they didn't check my tickets. And I'm like, why the fuck did I buy them? What are we doing? Oh, I went snowboarding. I bought a lift ticket. Spent $20 on a lift
Where at?
ticket at beach. It was guys' night. That's why it's $20. I'm cheap. But anyway, I spent $20 on my lift ticket, and it never got checked one time. Why did I spend $20 on a lift ticket? Anyway, let's talk about
What is
boxing.
this rant?
All I'm saying, if I have to buy a ticket for something that's supposed to be checked, check my ticket. That's all I'm saying. Because it makes me, why am I,
You have a very sad life.
fuck the honor
You have a
system,
very sad
okay? I hate it. Just check me.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Like it bothers you that much, you could just like not buy the ticket. And
But you
just,
don't know that you can't, you don't know until you've already bought the
Jesus.
ticket that you didn't have to buy the ticket.
But
And
you
I'm
know
not-
now you've done it multiple times.
sometimes they check my ticket.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to go on a rant, comedy podcast and all.
I'm trying very hard to find how long it was in theaters, Beauty and the Beast, because I'm telling you, it was like basically my entire time working at that theater. Damn near 3 years we had
It
it.
feels like a pretty easy Google search. If it didn't pop up right away, I
It's
don't
really
think it's
not
gonna-
because it
pop
keeps
up.
confusing the other Beauty and the Beast,
Oh,
and then it's
the-
giving me domestic and budget and stuff, but it's not giving me the length of time that it was shown on screens. Anyways, long time. Just take my word for it.
What was the
Long
craziest
time.
reason anyone ever got kicked out while you guys were working there? Whether you kicked them out or management or whoever or God kicked them out, I don't know. Whoever kicks them out,
They died.
they died. Well, Cinemark has a history of that.
I don't remember. That's why I didn't want to say the company.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I do remember one time that the manager the GM was a very great dude. He was kind of just he's a sweet man. He's not a super, he doesn't know a lot about the darker side of the world. We'll say that. He's very, just one of
That's
those
a good
people
way
you
to
meet
put
who's
it,
just
Yeah.
not
Just not
innocent,
the guy
but
who came
just,
and smelled like weed, just smelled bad or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "What is that cologne that guy's wearing? It
Yeah.
smells terrible." Right. So, one time I remember him being like, "Can I borrow you, sir?" He always called everybody sir. And I was at the podium and I was like, "Sure." And we walk in, and literally as we go in the door and start to go up the ramp to the biggest theater we had, a couple hundred seats, it just reeked of alcohol down on the ramp. And he was like,
Did you
"What
guys
is
serve
that?"
alcohol or
No.
no?
No.
Okay.
And he was like, "What is that smell in here?" I remember him being like confused, like, "What is that?" And I was like, "That would be alcohol." And he's like, "Well, let's find it." And it was all the way at the top row. Somebody had brought an entire fifth of Jack Daniels and emptied about half of like a Coke.
What movie
cup.
were they watching?
I don't remember. Not something that would dictate this kind of behavior for sure. Probably like Beauty and the Beast.
Well, yeah, probably. It was there for the
And
longest.
it was there. And so, but I remember they had dumped the Coke just in the floor. Like half of a 55-ounce large Coke was dumped in the floor, and they had poured what would fit of the Jack Daniels in there. The rest was just in a bottle that was tipped over and open, and so there was just a mix of Coke and Jack.
Why don't they just sneak a
everywhere.
drink in like everyone
I don't
fucking
know.
else
I don't know
does?
why. I don't know why. A lot
Did
of
you guys
people
ever like?
we would find like pizza boxes that I'd be
Yeah.
like, "How the fuck did
Yeah.
that get in there?" I swear to God,
That's
like
funny.
I would be on the podium all
I
night,
respect that.
and then
I respect that.
It's kind of
That's-
impressive.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of is.
It
Did you ever
kinda-
make? Do you make people throw stuff away a lot?
I never
No,
would.
I don't
Yeah.
think
No.
so. I
Just-
I
I
didn't
sneak
really
stuff in
care.
too.
Yeah.
I've never once been told to throw anything away at a movie theater, but I went to a comedy show one time, and they made me throw a can of dip away before going in, and I was like,
Mm.
what
Well,
are
it
we
does
doing
get
here?
a little excessive sometimes. I mean, like the pizza box thing would be, I would say something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pizza. I mean, yeah, a
But
pizza box.
legitimately,
I've taken
I remember
McDonald's into a movie
finding-
before.
I remember like being on the podium ripping tickets all night and then go to sweep later that night and be like, "How the fuck did they get 3 Jersey Mike subs in here or whatever?" Like,
I've taken McDonald's into
Yeah.
into a movie several times.
you'd be shocked.
I've
Well, I
done
think
that.
they have some kind of a clear bag policy now or something too, don't they? Like
Probably.
Yeah,
something.
Cinemark probably
Yeah.
they're cracking down.
about 10
Yeah.
years ago. They
Yeah.
probably implemented that pretty quickly.
Well, look. So let me ask you this: so the way
I'm
you
sorry.
describe
I just need to apologize. for what I just said.
the way that you describe this transition from I'm here shooting this boxing event to now I want to participate and take this opportunity is great. I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
a
I'm
great
sorry
way to
I went
live.
on this movie
No,
theater
it's fine.
tangent.
Well, now I'm trying to get off of it,
yeah.
and you won't. So, the way that you describe that, I'm curious. Did you have like a love for boxing specifically before that, or was it just like you go to this event and you're just kind of mesmerized by the art?
I definitely loved boxing before that. Definitely more of a UFC fan. But,
Sure.
Who's your favorite boxer?
Favorite boxer, probably like of all time or like currently fighting.
Rocky, right?
All
I'm just
time.
kidding, all time.
All time.
That's funny. All
Clubber
time,
Lang.
All time.
Well, he's thinking I can only name one boxer. Just
And it's Lucas, and you don't know his last name.
Well, look out.
It'd be
He's
easier
not
for
a
me to say,
boxer
like,
until May
current.
2nd, but I can
Right.
I can name one boxer who has fought.
Jake Paul.
No.
You can name two.
I guess they did box. I can name 3 then.
Jesus Christ.
Muhammad Ali was the
Hey,
one.
there you go.
That's a
one.
good one. He's a good one.
Yeah. You're actually racist if you don't say he's the greatest of all time. That's
I have.
if you name any white guy, you're just wrong. Also, like there's
I
not
do
really.
think, I mean, Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson, right?
Oh my
he's
gosh, that's
Jesus
awful.
Christ.
he's GOAT,
Let's-
right?
What a weird simulation we're
That is.
living
Does
in.
his brother box too, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically, yeah.
Which one's the douchier of the two? Is it Jake or?
I would say Jake.
Yeah, I'd say Jake.
Is he the younger one?
He is.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead.
His nickname
George
is the
Foreman would be my
problem
favorite,
child.
I'd say.
Ooh,
That's a good
I can
answer.
name that one too. I know
Just
George
because
Foreman.
you have his grill upstairs.
I do have a George Foreman grill, but
That's why.
I knew he was a boxer
Yeah.
because of Drake and Josh. Thank you
That's
very
true.
much.
Oh, really? He's in episode of Drake and Josh.
Oh, he's not. The George Foreman grills are.
Oh, okay.
The grills are.
Have you guys seen that?
He
You
is,
haven't seen that?
however, in a couple episodes of Sanford and Son. He took an acting class that Fred was teaching in Sanford and Son one time in the 70s when he's heavyweight champion of the world. He's in some episodes. It's
That's
pretty
really cool.
pretty
Actually.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So George Foreman, though, he's your favorite boxer. Now,
I'd say of all time. Like currently,
Yeah.
I would say like either Canelo or Gervonta Davis.
so
Canelo's just impressive,
He's
to
good.
say the least. I mean, I don't even know anything about the boxing world, really, but I know that that's a very impressive human being.
yeah.
There's a picture of him with, because the weight classes are the way they are, there's 100 different belts you can have and different.
and he has like half of them.
There's a picture of him that is fucking hilarious where he has like 3 belts on, 2 on each arm. There's people holding it. There's like 10 belts and it says like, Canelo, can you take any more belts? And it just says C. That's all it says below. I mean, it is, so I'll find the picture.
Is boxing? They give their belts back, don't they? Or is that?
Well, about boxing belts, like what you said, like he's got like so many belts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. You know, he gets to like flex all his belts and everything. But I don't like that there's like so many boxing promotions. Like,
Right. So unlike the UFC, it's different promotions under the
So like
boxing
different
umbrella.
leagues, quote unquote, or
yeah,
whatever.
Sort of.
WBC,
Right.
like IBA.
Oh, that's kind of
Right. So he has belts in different promotions. So like this
So
is,
what's like the good? Like,
this is the picture I was talking about.
Jesus.
It's so fucking many
more
belts for
belt than
no
people.
reason. It's so many belts.
I do think
Like
there's
it's
more
a cool
belts than there
photo,
are
but
people.
it's like a little excessive.
It's
you
a
know?
lot. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I don't think that is actually the height of his belt collection. I think
No,
that he,
definitely
like
not.
this one is more recent, clearly. And that's actually more, that's like
What is that,
9
7, 8, 9 belts.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
8
ridiculous.
belts. How many?
It's crazy.
How often can like a boxer realistically box? Like at the professional level?
At the professional level, like
Like surely it's not like once a month. Like surely.
I mean, like
it's
at
not.
like Canelo's level, like 3 times a year, something like that.
Right.
Say because I imagine like unless it's just like you punch them once and they get knocked the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
it's a decent recovery time.
Yeah.
Well, I think the commitment to that too. Like I know this weekend was a big card for the UFC, and one of the fighters said something to the effect of like, you know, all these last 6 months for those 10 minutes. Like that's a lot of
Yeah.
dedication to one thing. And I think on some level we understand that as being comedians. There's a lot of time that goes into your 5 minutes on stage or whatever, but boxing's more extreme because
Oh, yeah.
you're getting 10, like you said, maybe 30 minutes a year in the ring.
Yeah.
And you're dedicating.
Yeah, in comedy, you bomb one set. Who cares? You have another set next. Like
Right.
you have another show next weekend. Like
Yeah.
you bomb
Or maybe
in the
even later
ring.
that night.
Yeah, you bomb in the ring. You.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
taking you 6
Yeah.
months to gear up for that. Yeah.
That's kind of
People like don't see like the dedication and time it takes like before
Sure.
everything.
How
Well,
many?
even
How
the
many?
weight cut and stuff is just such a huge task. That's almost as impressive to me. Making a weight is damn near as impressive to me as winning a fight. Like managing your body in that way. When you see, if you've ever seen some of the behind the scenes stuff that these fighters go through during the cuts and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
and rehydrating before the fight, it's just, I mean, people have gotten really.
People just don't like eat
Rough
the day
shape.
of, don't they? Like
I mean,
it's just like
it's
water.
a
It's
lot
like
more to
water.
it than that.
It's
yeah.
a lot.
That's how you do it.
It's a lot
Here we
more
are
than just,
again.
you don't like
You just
skip
do whatever.
a day of eating.
You do whatever up until day of. And you just quit eating that day. No,
You can't even help but say stupid shit.
that's not. I meant like I was gonna elaborate, but
Well,
it's okay.
Here, the interesting part about the weight cut to the fight too is like, you know, you're in a fight, you want your body to be performing at its highest, but you've been starving yourself.
Yeah.
In some
Yeah.
cases, obviously that's not always true.
You bulk up like right after they just like carb load, don't they? And
Yeah,
Sometimes.
rehydrate. It depends on like how much you cut. Like these UFC guys, they gotta like wait a while before they can eat because like if you're like shrunken in and you try to like have a big meal, like your stomach's gonna explode, like literally. So they gotta like
Yeah.
rehydrate
Dang.
slowly. You
I
used to
didn't
be able
know
to like use an IV to rehydrate, but that can be used to like high performance enhancing drugs,
Right.
like flush them out of your system. So you literally just have to like sip water slowly until you
Yeah.
can like,
It's
Go
so
back to
scary.
eating.
So what kind of steroids do you endorse?
none.
We're saying that here for the record.
None.
No PEDs.
Nah.
Well, there's all these crazy examples too of guys that really swing. Like I know Patty Pimblett goes up to a balloon of weight after and between fights. He's 100 pounds
he
heavier.
legitimately
than-
has like an eating disorder.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
It is wild to
100%.
me. How long before the fight do they do the last weigh in?
It's the day before.
yeah, it's the
normally.
day before. I don't know like how many hours before, like the day before though. So
That's kind of wild. Like, I don't know.
You
I
got
feel like they should do
24
it
hours
like
to
I feel like
rehydrate.
they should do it like an hour before.
Jesus Christ. No.
No, 'cause you're kind of like
I'm
on
gonna
the-
tell you this.
You would
Michael.
have to maintain that weight more healthily if they did it an
I'm
hour
going to tell you
before.
this.
You would
I
have
don't
to.
think you have anything to offer the boxing community. I don't think you have any
have
improvements
nothing.
to the way things work
Nothing.
to offer. You're like, I've
Well,
got
like,
some
it would be
suggestions.
more healthy
Why?
if they had to do it like an hour before.
people would definitely cut less weight, but that's
Yeah.
just
Right.
That's not gonna.
You know what
happen.
we need? We
It's
need a
not good.
boxing league that's steroids encouraged.
Well, so
No,
here's
people have like
um,
actually suggested that before.
Kurt,
Like,
have you
I-
guys seen the Have you guys seen the performance enhanced like Olympics? What's it? Well, they're not calling it that. It's like a catchier name. You guys seen
Yeah,
that?
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Is it like up and active, or is it still just a concept?
I don't. Well, no, I don't think it's happening yet.
Okay.
I don't think it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you?
I know what you're talking about.
I'd
Well,
watch
there's a
that.
big argument in baseball, which I know almost nothing about, but the sport was much more exciting and drew a lot bigger views and crowds back when people
They were
were
hitting home
on
runs
these
every time they were up to
snapping
bat.
bats over their legs and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Michael. This is Patty Pimblett that I was talking about. He's a UFC fighter who dramatically changes his weight.
Dude, there's nothing.
Which I
Dude.
swear,
There's even
that's
worse
the same
pictures
guy.
than that.
No,
That's the same
man.
guy. There's way
that's-
worse
That's like
pictures.
Christian Bale for movie. Like, have you seen the like Christian Bale
Yeah.
movies? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like looks
He
like Christian.
literally, like, as soon as he leaves during the press conference, will be eating like a triple cheeseburger, and
Nah,
he just
that's
tacks on all
not.
this
That's
weight.
insane.
That dude's
And then
heart.
treats
That dude's heart's going to explode.
It's not
dead.
Yeah,
good.
he's got to stop doing that.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much universally, everyone in the community is
Yeah.
like, we
I know
don't like
nothing
this.
about this guy, but I know that that's not good.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
crazy.
definitely
So, other than Rocky, what's your favorite boxing movie?
not. Cinderella Man.
Oh, that's a good
Ooh.
answer. That was a quick answer,
That
too.
was a good one.
That's really good.
Who was in Cinderella Man? I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, okay.
Russell
yeah,
Crowe,
yeah. Yeah.
So
That's a
good.
one. I like Southpaw. That's a good one.
That's, yeah.
That's
is
good,
that
yeah.
Gyllenhaal? Is that who that
Gyllenhaal.
is? Yeah.
Probably was in theaters when you guys.
I think
there?
that's before my time,
It
maybe.
might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I had two
Pretty
other
good.
thoughts about the movie theater thing.
Okay.
Those little boxes you said for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure that was invented on iCarly. Don't know if you remember that episode of iCarly, but
I'm going to say it wasn't, but go ahead.
pretty big Dan Snyder fan
Of course you are.
back in the day.
That's probably why he makes me do all these without shoes on. That's kind of weird. Michael always makes me take my shoes off at the door, but doesn't ask the guest to,
Nope.
and that's
My shoes have been off.
well. There's
for-
some houses where you can't wear your shoes inside, but socks. This is the first one I've ever been asked to take my socks off
Yeah.
and put them in your nightstand. Anyways,
I keep them.
what's your other movie theater thought? Anything?
I forgot.
All right,
The
well,
Dan
let's move
Snyder
on.
one was the big one.
Let's
Anyway,
move on.
I'm sorry.
Boxing wise, I do want to ask you. Look, so when you look at the, obviously this is your first event, so there's no real way to know. But I mean, I would assume that somewhere down this path you've developed a love for the sport and the training and probably just the camaraderie, right? I mean, that's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
thing in comedy too, just being around comedians.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure the boxing gym is no different. But I mean, do you see yourself going on and doing more events after this?
Oh,
As of right
100%.
now?
I want to, like, assuming all things go well, which they will.
Yeah.
Whoever I'm fighting, I'm going to knock them out.
Sure.
But I'd like to see how far I can take it,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know what's the highest level I could get to since I'm, like, kind of, like, starting later in life.
Right.
But
Well, the real interesting thing is that you're doing it because you love it and you
Yeah.
admire it, and even your introduction to it, I think, speaks to like you're clearly not finding any source of income from this or anything. If anything, you're probably losing money in the training, but which
Well, it's,
stand up
you know,
is no
it's
different.
a charity event, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's another
Yeah.
aspect of it, too. And I've, like, raised you could probably look on the website. I think I've raised, like,
Yeah.
$1,200 so far.
Oh, that's
So,
really cool.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And we'll drop that link.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like whatever the donation link to
Absolutely.
give to you or whatever. We'll put
sure.
that and everything. But I do think what Nathaniel's saying is awesome. Like you're getting into it for the right reason,
Yeah.
because you are genuinely interested and you want to do this and
Right.
it's something that you love, you know. It's different than the fighting you've done, but it's still fighting. And that sounds bad how that's coming out. Without
No, I
context,
mean with the
but like, you know what I'm
history
saying.
of martial arts, that
Yeah.
that foundation
Yeah.
is already there, which is interesting. So I'll say too, on the website there's tickets available. There's also Sky Suite tickets available. There's student, military, and faculty discounts, and then there's the VIP package, which you and I may have to go.
Who's the
VIP to this
faculty
one.
for that?
I guess just whoever works in the facility where
We're
it's
making them
located.
buy tickets?
Yeah, seems that way.
God,
No
what
free
is it-
movies on your
What
day
is
off.
with these fucking companies?
No free movies.
What is it? These companies making you buy tickets to the shows at the place you work at? Jeez.
I will say, I know every dollar like that for tickets all goes to the charities involved.
That's great. Yeah.
What are the
Before you
charities?
start talking shit, like it's
That's what I was
I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking shit like you work there. Like,
Yeah.
I say all this to say I never got a free meal at McDonald's that I didn't steal. But anyway,
Well,
what are the charities that it goes toward?
So there's three main ones. There is the Warrior Surf Foundation, which is this nonprofit that helps veterans struggling with PTSD kind of like rehabilitate themselves, like through surf and yoga therapy.
It's really cool.
Because it's in Charleston, so they're at the beach, so
Yeah.
they do that.
yeah.
Then there's the Charleston Athletic Fund, which kind of helps underprivileged like student athletes. And then the third one is MUSC Children's Hospital, which is a children's hospital. And I've been able to I met one of the little girls who like kind of like went through the hospital. Her name's Harper, and she was like really awesome, really good kid. So like I was able to see like the money, like all these charities, they're very legit. They're very good.
Right.
And
Well, that's a big thing for a lot
Yeah.
of people too, is knowing where your donations are going, and I'm sure being there and seeing that only motivates you even more to like
It really
perform
does,
and get the tickets sold. Yeah, I think that's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm excited for you. I know we just met and everything, and it's not MMA. No, but
What an asshole.
sorry. Sorry, I was incorrect at the beginning. But no.
you're good, dude.
About
One day,
everything?
One day.
About everything on
Yeah.
this whole podcast, I was incorrect on. And
I do want to make it very known also that I could have given Michael a whole disclosure so he'd know what he was talking about. It was much more fun for me to just let this
Yeah.
play out and just let him shine.
I really wish you'd like said like something like totally like out of pocket, like
Oh, I would have brought it up
Yeah.
very confidently.
You know those planes that write messages in the sky? He flies
Yeah.
one professionally. That's
I would have had so many questions about that, and I'm gonna act like we do that you do that. So, what got you into that?
I don't know if I could like that'd be maybe a bit much. I don't know if I could BS my way through that. That's like so specific.
that way.
What
You
is
and
the
I should have
craziest-
cooperated. to,
What
like-
is the craziest request you've ever received to write in the sky?
Oh my god! I bet they get some crazy.
Oh
ones.
my god, dude! I bet
I bet there's a lot they turn down.
I wonder how expensive they are to hire.
What if you? Let me ask you hypothetically. Do you guys think if I paid one of those guys whatever the amount, I'd pay whatever the amount is? Would they just write the word gullible in the sky so that all day I could be at the park like gullible's up in the sky, like just all day tricking people into looking up?
You're saying all day. How long does that last though? It's
That's a good
That's what I
question.
was thinking.
it's
Like
not
it's
gonna
gotta last
all
like.
day.
I bet it lasts like 10 minutes.
I'll make him come back for round 2. I'll keep him up there all day.
You should propose to Haley with a writer.
It just says gullible. It doesn't even say, "Will you
should-
marry
you
me?"
Should, you should do "Will you marry me, Haley," but have him misspell Haley.
Oh, gee, put the wrong name by accident.
Ooh,
That'd be something.
don't do that.
Pretty cool. That's a real Ross and
do that.
Rachel. Yeah.
Friends reference. I like it. Anyway.
Yeah. Thanks.
Um,
Thanks. Appreciate it.
this was fun. Thank
It
you
was,
for being on
yeah.
our podcast. Seriously,
Appreciate it.
and
It's a
got-
nice change of pace from our usual buffoonery.
It was. I just want to just go on the record and say that I don't endorse.
You can't even go on the record
I just
correctly.
want to go on the record and say that I made some jokes that I don't
Yeah.
believe in. This is a comedy podcast, and just
I don't know. I
just
kind of
know
believed
that.
him.
Just
I'm
know
gonna
that.
be honest. I think
Um,
you're
Made
killing
him
him.
very frequently for someone who did not believe in them.
That's true. That's true. You did talk a
did.
lot of shit for
I
somebody.
did. I had another Batman joke.
You've invited a trained fighter into your home to make fun of him. Do you understand the
I didn't really
foolishness?
make fun of him. I just made fun of
Everything he loves.
everything he's been a part of for the last entire of his life.
It's pretty stupid. Michael, can I give you a gift? I'm sorry, I meant to do this before we got started. Then I
Yes.
just felt it in my pocket.
You're
And
gonna
I totally
punch
forgot.
me in the face.
Yeah.
What?
No, I've been in Nashville, which I'll talk about in the intro. I've been in Nashville all weekend, and we did a little shopping down there. And Haley was getting some stickers at this place, and I came across this one, and I thought if you could please display this somewhere very proudly, that would be fantastic.
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
For our listeners,
I showed it to Nathaniel.
It is a pink sticker that says "I am Knuff."
Yeah, that is so cool.
From the Barbie movie,
Yeah.
because Michael's a real big Barbie fan.
Well, okay, for the context for our guest.
Do you have like the shit, like the
No,
sweatshirt?
we had our first video podcast was
Yeah.
with Dustin Aaron, and he had a Barbie shirt on.
He did.
And I made a comment. It was our first clip, and it did pretty well.
Did well.
I made a comment about how I saw a shirt that said "I am Knuff,"
Yeah.
and it was like $30 or $40, and
Right.
I would have bought it, but
Yeah.
it was like $30 or $40.
Well, the important part is you didn't just make the comment. You inserted the comment while I was asking our guest a different question, so you can hear you inserting. I saw this shirt. I saw this shirt the other day. Hey guys, I saw this shirt.
He had a Barbie sweatshirt on, and I was like, "That's cool. Does it say I'm Knuff?" And then I went into the
Right.
story. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
you're
very
welcome.
kind.
Well, then I said to the guy, I said, "Do you think that are you upset about the Oscars snub that Oppenheimer got it over Barbie?" And Dustin goes, "No, dude, women aren't like as good as men." So no, that was our
Very
first.
Oppenheimer was very good.
Oppenheimer was very good.
Listen,
Yeah.
I've now seen both movies, and Oppenheimer deserved it.
It's good.
So.
Well, I do want to add before we wrap up, Lucas, the film world. Are you done with that? Are you just moving on to boxing full time, or you still have a love for
I don't
both?
think I'm definitely not done with it. no.
Actually, before we go, I do want to talk about that. You said you went to film school, so are you like wanting to make films, or what do you want to do?
Full length features.
Yeah, like what
short
do you
films,
want to do
what's
with
your
that?
vibe?
Initially, like going into film school, that's what I was gonna do. But whenever I like did like the little documentary like on everything, I kind of like switched my focus to documentaries. So I might do something like, have you seen like the embedded things with UFC?
Sure.
Maybe like something like down
Yeah.
that route.
Like the Ken
Right.
Burns of UFC?
Well, like finding the mutual ground between those
That was a
two.
good joke. Fuck off.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Finding the mutual ground between those two things that you love, I think, is important too. Because but I mean, I would argue that this whole show is kind of built around a different thing that we love that we bring here as well,
Yeah.
and like intertwine the two of them. And also like being in there every day and going through that process gives you a perspective that somebody who's just a professional documentary maker is not going to have to that process of fighting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah. One last question before we wrap it up.
Go for it.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh yeah, let's go down this rabbit hole.
While you're thinking of it, I just want to say that I've watched Dune 1 and 2. They're not my favorite movies of all time, but I watched Dune 1
I
and
saw
2.
the first like 20 minutes of Dune 1.
It's a lot.
Watched them, and I'm going to make this. You saw the post. I'm going to say the joke because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I watched Dune 1 and 2, and I do feel like how Eric Foreman feels after he watched Star Wars for the first time because I'm obsessed. Anyway.
Really?
I don't
So good.
know.
I couldn't
Did you
get
go
into
with
it.
So we also, Lucas and I are part of a friend group from that movie theater that occasionally still will get together and go see movies. But we went and saw it as a group. Were you there for Dune?
When did it come out? I might have been in Savannah.
2021.
I bet
21.
you were gone
Yeah.
already. Yeah, 2021. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
we
was
went
probably in
to
Savannah at that time.
we went to Abingdon Cinema and saw that masterpiece. And I just felt like the first one was a lot of anticipation with no payoff. It was just a lot.
I literally couldn't get through. I watched like the first like half an hour.
It was a lot.
Yeah, you watched the half an hour that the world builds, and you're like, nah.
Oh, it was
I know about the world, but I don't give a
like,
shit about the
You
story.
got to do something. You got to do
Yeah.
something in 30 minutes.
The
It's gonna
second
be
one,
solid.
though,
That's what I've heard, but it's like I don't feel like I should have to sit through 3 hours of anticipation for some payoff.
let me tell you how invested I am.
It should have been a series.
I watched, they have a series. Dune
but I mean,
Prophecy.
it should have been split up as a series.
I watched the first 2 movies, and I went and bought the book, and I am now reading the book.
I would
because
imagine it's better, right?
I am into
Do
it.
you like read often, or is it
No.
like something that's
He
like
can't
serious?
read.
This is
He can't
I'm
even
learning
read.
for it.
You're like
I'm
such a
like-
fan that you got the book.
I'm like, I'm reading this shit.
You're
I
learning to
don't-
read for it.
I don't want to wait for the 3rd movie. That's how that's where we're at with
Jesus.
it. Like I'm about it.
You do have that obsessive personality. You really
Yeah.
get in there.
Got a little tism. Anyway, what's your favorite movie
It's
of
a
all
little,
time?
it's a little
Probably Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Really, I've never
Yeah.
seen that movie.
It's good.
I need to add it to my list.
It's really good.
It's good. It's honestly maybe the only Tarantino film that I really, really, really enjoy. I'm very
Really?
particular. Yeah, I'm not like something about the exaggeration in his movies just takes me out of it.
I agree with that.
Because I like westerns in particular. I'm a big western fan, and everybody Django is good.
I
But
love
that-
Django though.
that-
That's my favorite
great.
Tarantino.
It's great. I just that it is a style, but that style with like the excessive shots and blood and stuff at the end and
Jamie
stuff.
Foxx is shooting that guy and he
Right.
just pops out of the he
It
like
just
shoots
takes me
back
out of
50
it.
feet.
And it
I
just
get
takes
that.
me out of it.
What about like Reservoir Dogs? Like that one's kind of like
Yeah,
grounded.
loved it. I mean, I've seen a lot of his
Haven't seen
stuff,
that
and
one
I
in a long time.
like
I
it
couldn't
all.
give an opinion
I
on that
like
one.
it all, but it doesn't come to mind for me for like top
I like
directors, top films.
Speaking of Tarantino, I like Pulp Fiction a lot. I think Pulp Fiction is one of the most overhyped movies.
I've never actually seen it. It might be
It's
the
good.
only
It's
one.
really
I've
It's
not
good.
seen.
It's good.
It is a
Yeah.
great movie. people saying Pulp Fiction is the greatest movie of all time, though.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's pretty good.
Fucking crazy.
It's pretty good. It's definitely my favorite of his.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
I change that answer all the time. Probably Goodfellas. Like that's the one I
that's a
could
great
watch
movie.
the
Yeah,
most.
that's a good one.
I could rewatch it every day and probably never get tired of it.
Interstellar is my favorite.
That's another great one.
Love it, but
Ooh.
it'll never hit like the first time you see it.
Oh no!
Whereas
dude. I
Goodfellas
cried the first time I
is
watched
always
Interstellar.
good. Yeah,
I've cried like
of course
probably
you did.
10 times in my whole life.
Did
and
you
one of
cry
them-
when you saw it in the theaters? Or
No,
something?
I did see it. They re-released it in IMAX, and I took
Yeah,
my
it's
brother.
still playing right now.
Yeah,
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
tell him I will go with
I'd
you.
like to see it.
I will
Yeah.
drive to
I didn't say I
Knoxville
wanted
again
you
and
to
watch
go,
it.
but I would
Fuck
like
off.
to see it.
No, but I did. I took my brother. He'd never seen it. We saw it in IMAX.
It's so good.
I said in the IMAX because I'm a boomer apparently. But
So were
Um,
boxing films something that you liked a lot too, like before transitioning to that? Or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, there's so many. It's kind of like, well, there's not a lot of stand-up films. There's a few, but sports films, there's a ton.
Oh,
and
yeah.
boxing, there's quite a few.
I've seen. I used to watch one of my favorite
What's
movies.
the one with Christian? Is that The Fighter? Is that one?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
Chris
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's good
that
too.
one's
That's a good movie. One of the movies I really liked. It's not really. It's a fighting movie. It's not really a boxing movie. But Never Back Down, the first one. Have you ever watched
I
that
don't think
one?
I've seen that.
I have
No.
not.
I watched that movie.
That sounds like a 2000s movie that I would not enjoy.
It was like 2000. I was.
I think it has. Does it have
Young
Michael
teenager.
Bisping in it? Actually,
Does
Who?
it really? Oh, interesting.
maybe.
Who?
I bet
That's
it's
what I'm
Michael
thinking.
Bisping. He's a UFC fighter.
Yeah. Does it have a
Maybe.
UFC fighter in it?
Never
Maybe.
Back Down.
British
Let's
guy?
see.
Is he an African gentleman?
No,
Nope.
he is not.
I don't know.
No, that would not be him.
Nope. Okay.
No, I think this is a different movie. Yeah, I've not seen this.
it's okay. Listen, it came out. When did it come out?
2000. Whoa, 2008.
2008. So I was 12, 13 years old when
Yeah.
it came out.
Okay.
And it was a really I was 12, I was 13 and I loved it. You
I
know
don't
what
think
mean?
I remembered how many
Like-
boxing movies I've seen because I just Googled boxing movies and there's a lot of obviously
There's
Raging
so
Bull.
many.
Raging Bull's fantastic. The Fighter's good. $1 Million Baby is really good. That's a Clint Eastwood project.
I'll never watch that movie again. That movie's so sad.
Oh, it's rough. Yeah,
That's so, I
never
watched
seen
it the
that.
one time and I was like, that's enough.
I've never
very
seen
good.
it.
Ali's good. The
No, it's
Seen
not.
that.
Will Smith one. Oh,
No,
come on,
it's
dude.
not.
It's
I
good.
couldn't finish that one either.
I think his Ali is good. I'll say him as that
It's
character.
just
I like.
Will Smith doing an Ali impression.
That's what I'm saying. I like it. I like
What's
it.
your
You like it?
Yeah,
What's your
it's not like
thought-
Jamie Foxx doing Ray. That's way better.
What's your
I've actually never seen
thoughts
that.
on shitty horror movies? Like,
Oh, I love shitty horror movies.
Here we
I
go.
love
so
it.
Great.
dude.
Well, it
they're
took
so
you an
great.
hour and 9 minutes to get him on your side, Michael, but you got him. You finally
Listen,
got
people
him.
who like movies like shitty movies. I'm telling you,
That's true.
they
yeah.
do. It's just something about it. Like
Yeah,
my
I
wife
don't like
hates shitty movies. I love them.
Me too.
Man, like Blood and Honey. Have you seen it?
I know what that is, but I have not seen it.
One and
I
two.
want to see that.
Every
One-
fucking episode he manages to bring up
One
Winnie
is-
the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
One is okay. It's okay. Two,
It's worse.
actually a pretty good movie. No, it's actually a
No, it's not.
it's a decent
No,
movie.
no, it's
when
not.
you watch these movies, like, do you like watch them kind of like as if they're comedies, or like how do you?
Oh,
like, watch
yeah.
them? Okay.
Oh yeah,
I'm just making
dude.
sure. I'm making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. Think I'm watching fucking Mousetrap. That's the Mickey Mouse one.
Yeah.
Expecting it to be a good movie? No. I'm expecting to laugh.
I do want to make one recommendation because I'm sure that 90% of our audience, all three of them, and even I would argue probably both of you guys, but I'll see about Lucas, have not seen this. I grew up on this movie because my grandpa was a huge fan of this. It's a boxing movie. This movie was like the opener movie when The Outlaw Josie Wales, the very famous Clint Eastwood movie, came out. It came to our local drive-in. My grandparents went to see it, whatever year that is, 1975. When Outlaw Josie Wales came out, the movie that played before it was a movie that gets no recognition, but it's Charles Bronson. It's called Hard Times, 1975.
I've never seen that.
One of my favorite films of all time. Now, it's just old enough where you do have to watch it through that lens of like you're watching
Yeah.
something from
Watches them
70
50
years
years
ago.
ago,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's aged for sure. But it's Charles Bronson, and he's just like a traveling guy who makes money by just brawling in the street, and then he gets with a shady promoter played by James Coburn who's like all about the money, and they rig
As they
fights
are.
and this kind of stuff. In the 70s, it's based on the 40s though. I think it's set in like the Depression era in New Orleans, and he's kind of like traveling around just fighting for money. And if you've never seen it, that would be my number one recommendation for a boxing movie.
Do they play movies before the main movie at drive-ins?
There's always two. There's always like an early and a late show.
And like you just buy one ticket?
Yeah. You never been to a drive-in?
I've never been to a drive-in
Really?
theater.
Damn.
Never once.
You're missing out. It's fun.
I like.
Well, don't go if you'd like to see or hear the movie. That's the important thing. You don't want to go, I would
you
never
take your
see
girl
Interstellar at the thing.
You take your girl there.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
I know
right.
what you do at a drive-in.
Yeah,
I just,
right. Yeah.
I've never done it. So, anyway.
Do you remember that joke I used to try about taking Haley to the drive-in? I haven't tried it in years, but when I first started comedy, I used to say, I was taking my girlfriend to the drive-in. She'd never been. And I was like, she's never been before. And I told her, you hope you don't plan on seeing the movie because, when you go to the drive-in, you're probably not gonna get up for air hardly. And then I was like, she just wouldn't let me up the whole time. She would not let me up for air.
That joke.
I used to flip it at the end, and she hated that joke.
I remember that joke.
That joke, but
I hated it
I
too.
grew up going because my grandparents grew up.
Well, you had a
going
drive-in
and stuff.
near you, right?
Yeah, Bristol has one.
Yeah, we don't have a drive-in. I grew up in Gray, and we don't have a drive-in.
There's one in Elizabeth.
Yeah, they got hit by a cop.
I'm sorry.
You guys not know
A
that?
cop drove into it.
Yeah, a cop
Really?
drove through it. You guys didn't hear about it? I mean, this
No.
was recent. This wasn't the reason why we didn't go as a
Oh, it's pretty cool.
kid, but there's do you guys know where it is in Elizabethton?
Yeah,
by chance?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's,
I don't.
So for listeners, it's just on this highway in Elizabethton.
Yeah,
Okay, it's on the
huge
side of the
highway.
highway. And there was a high-speed chase on it. And it was icy out. And this cop hit a patch of ice, lost control of his car, sirens on,
Pretty
everything.
cool.
Slammed through it. And it was shut down for 2 years.
Jeez.
Imagine you're
Yeah.
watching.
Right,
them-
it happened right during the pandemic too, because everyone was like, "We'll just go to the drive-in," and then hit the-
Pretty cool.
yeah.
Imagine watching a car chase scene and a cop car comes splitting through the
I was
screen that you're
thinking
watching.
that, yes.
It's like God, this
3D.
3D. Yeah. Anyway,
Hell
so
yeah.
I think that's about our episode, Lucas. Thank
Let's
you for
wrap it
being
up.
on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Plug everything one more time
Yeah.
too, and we'll put it in the description and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the Battle on the Bricks 3, May 2nd. You can go to my Instagram. It's Luke. I don't know if I said this. My fighting name is Hollywood because the whole
Hell yeah.
movie stuff. But you can go to my Instagram, Lucas Hollywood Ray, and click the link in the description if you want to donate. But
What's your walk-up song?
I kind of want to don't say it. I want to keep
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
I want to keep
save
it.
it,
surprise.
save
Yeah,
it, save it.
yeah.
You'll have to go. You'll have to be there to hear it. That is in Charleston, South Carolina. So obviously,
On May 2nd.
if you're listening anywhere near there, please. And if you're not anywhere near there or can't make it, just consider donating. It sounds like it's a great cause.
Yeah,
and
it's a great cause.
The link that we'll post also takes you to the website that has tons of information about the charities. I've been sitting here reading it and all that good stuff. So it's all out there and available. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Lucas. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys again.
Michael Rose Comedy. Don't Tell Tri-Cities.
Yep. In Boer Comedy on Instagram. And hey, TikTok's back.
Talkin
We're
Bits
on-
5.
We're back on TikTok.
It was gone for
It was
Yeah.
gone for 12 hours,
Gone
and I
for-
got to tell you, I didn't shit for 12 hours because I didn't want to sit there and read the back of shampoo bottles like it was 2010 again. So, yeah, we're back. It's out. And if you're listening to this, that means tomorrow we have our next Don't Tell show. It's a returning venue for us, and they're just
And
they're fucking
new
great. So-
headliner named Michael Rose.
Incorrect.
So,
Incorrect. It is actually a very very exciting headliner. It's another Don't Tell producer from a different city who's going to be headlining.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I have some upcoming shows. It's every Wednesday at Blue Ridge Comedy Club.
For the free open mic. That's where you can see Michael booked for the next 6 to forever.
Yeah.
That's where he's at.
Yep. Sometimes I'll be on Tuesdays in Johnson City at
On a busy week, you can catch him on Tuesdays.
Little Magic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That was it, guys. We love you. Thank you
Yeah.
all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.